Hey everybody, Kenny Wisdom here with another Monday Standard Tournament, and in light of US Nationals, I thought we would go ahead and take Christy Britton's Seismitoad Crobat deck for a run. This is the exact deck list that she used to top 8 the tournament. Congratulations to Christy, the deck lists are on the website. And yeah, I thought we'd give this a run. I love Seismitoad decks going into the tournament. I think a lot of people, myself included, thought Seismitoad Crobats was one of the better decks to play. I know Britt Pybish wrote about it on Six Prizes. People have talked about it here and there. Not really an unknown deck, but Christie does have some interesting things going on in her list. Mostly this Rock Guard. As you can see, it's an ace spec and a tool. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an opponent's attack, even if that Pokemon is knocked out, put 6 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So, nice little way to spread damage counters along with Crobat and Golbat's abilities, along with Manectric's Overrun. Um, so yeah, pretty standard deck. We do have one copy of Silent Lab to shut down abilities that can end up hurting us. We also have 4 Electric Energy, which means we won't be attacking with Grenade Hammer on Seismitoad anytime soon. And besides that, pretty standard fare, I think. 4 Juniper 3N, pretty wide ranges of supporters. We have AC 06, we have Super Scoop Ups. So yeah, I think this deck is pretty fun. Like I said, this is Christie's list. There would be a few things I might change, I think, if it were up to me. I would probably want to fit a 4th Versus Seeker in there. I really like 4, and just minor things like that, but I thought we would take Christie's list as is and mess around with it. So I will see you guys in round 1. Hey guys, Kenny Wisdom back again for round 1. Just want to apologize, I do have a bit of a cold, so I'm sure you can hear that in the video. Hope that doesn't bother you guys too much. Let's see what we got here. Xatu, interesting. Let's take a look at what this guy actually does. Alright, no big deal. Oh, another mulligan, looking nice for us. Our hand, however, is not looking great, but we do get 2 free draws and the draw before we start our turn. Alright, so it looks like our opponent's playing Miltank with Gardevoir. Ooh, Tentacruel. Interesting. Let's take a look at Miltank here. A semi-popular Pokemon, being able to do 80 for 1, even maybe even 100 if you have Muscle Band, just for having a Stage 2 is pretty nice. Talo. Alright, so a lot of unorthodox cards from our opponent here. Not too concerned. These head ringers are going to be pretty much turned off the rest of the game. I'm willing to bet our opponent's probably just on the non-EX plan. And, well, I just have to go ahead and slam this in. Not much else I can really do. Ooh, not a great start. Not going to bother playing the Versus Seeker. Also not going to attach. If I had a basic energy, I might attach to my benched Zubat maybe, but don't want to potentially waste a DCE. We do have the Versus Seekers to get the end back, so we're not just out of it yet, but if our opponent starts going off here, we may be in some trouble. It's going to really depend on our draws next turn. Oh, they take 2 prizes off this. Wow, so if they actually have a way to retreat a DCE and a Muscle Band, they're going to take 2 prizes from my Zubat. That's actually big. There's a town map. Not revealing too much, just a bunch of energy and an N. Kirlia hits the board. Alright, so they didn't do too much, so we're still in it. Don't think we can throw away all these resources. I think we just have to go ahead and N. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. We can go ahead and hit like this with our Golbat. We can Ultra Ball like this. Don't want to risk Ultra Balling away the Colress just in case we don't hit anything. Just gonna go Toad here. Could try and hit the Shaman, but I'm more concerned with just actually getting offensive at this point. Don't want to get the Shaman and then miss, which is, not a terribly likely thing, but still gotta be careful. And now we have a Colress for at least 5 next turn, which is totally fine and should, as long as we dry decently, should get us right back into the driver's seat. When our opponent doesn't have a stage 2. Not going to bother attaching here, just going to go ahead and Colress. Muscle Band here, and then, yeah, I'm fine just dropping all these. Actually, I think I'll hold one. Yeah, just going to go ahead and take back the Seismitoad drop just in case I find a Shaman. There's a Quaking Punch for a prize. Verbank should be nice. Not too sure what stadium our opponent plays, but if we ever find a laser, I'm not too shabby. And it looks like our opponent is debating what to promote here. I think you send up the Miltank, actually. You're not going to be able to knock out my Seismitoad with this, whereas you can easily get lasered or Crobatted out, but just going to go ahead and hit me there. No reason to fill my bench, like I said. No reason to play the stadium and let it get bumped, so just going to go ahead and Quaking Punch. And this is the weird spot from our opponent. Obviously they don't want to keep giving up prizes with Miltank, but it seems like they might actually be able to win with this guy if they just hold him back, because you don't need the Pokemon that they knock out to trigger its primal trait doesn't have to be fresh. It can just be that damage. So seems like you might want to spread a little bit around or attack with the guy first and then move into that guy for the knockout, but it's very possible that my opponent whiffs and I get to take an extra 2 or 3 prizes before they can actually afford to attack with this guy. So certainly not just an outright misplay. It's certainly a decision. Alright, there's a Rock Guard. So now we are in a dangerous spot where if we do get knocked out, we're going to be in some trouble, but not too much we can do at this point. I think we're still fine. Just attacking for the knockout here. That Lysander was a good draw. It'll allow us to, at least if our opponent does start marinating something, we can start stalling because we're at 90 hit points. If our opponent has energy, muscle band, and a they can't play muscle band, so we will be safe. However, they are going to 2-shot us if they do have the stage 2. Fine with getting in there, although our hand is still not great, but it is going to allow us to get the 1-shot on this Miltank. But we are going to need to draw something. An N is a good draw there. I'll evolve like this. Make sure we can knock out this Miltank. I will go ahead and attach to this Manectric. I don't mind doing that. Play the Verbank, and I'll Shaman back up. Not too great of draws, but we have a Toad for after this one gets knocked out, and we have some energy to power up this Manectric, so I'm too concerned. There's a Quaking Punch. Golbat off the prize is a fine draw. Allow us to manipulate some damage. Powerful Storm not doing too much here if our opponent gets it off. But will be enough to knock us out, so we will see. And I think I'd like to. They're not even going to attack. It looks like, yeah, just passing the turn. That's great for us. So here I would like to. So I'm debating on how I should do this. I think Definitely going to attach like this. Can go ahead and, I guess I'll just Crobat the active one. Don't want to discard all this stuff again. So actually I'm fine with that. The ends aren't getting that great for us. And let's just go ahead and Quaking Punch. So this will set us up for the knockout next turn if our opponent can't retreat. We do have the Toad with the DCE on it. Our opponent's under we do the Toad with the DC in hand. Our opponent is under Quaking Lock, so I'm feeling or Quaking Punch Lock, feeling pretty confident at this point. If we find a Crobat, we can knock out this Gallade with that ability. Whoops, with that ability. Ooh, opponent is inactive. Nope, they're back. There's a second energy on that bench Gallade. Go and try and set us up for a powerful storm. Doesn't have it. They wake up, and a Crobat is just a great draw there. We're going to go ahead and take the free, quote-unquote, free knockout. And now our opponent's in a tough spot because they have to decide, do they let their Gallade get hit or do they let their Curlia potentially get knocked out and we down to one prize. So I think they did the correct thing there. Zero Sick doesn't matter. Ultra Ball can find us a Crobat. That's fine with me. We're definitely going to lose the Seismitoad, so I guess what would really hurt us is a way for our opponent to heal. Because we just have game now, right? Yeah, so, okay. Guess our opponent just didn't have anything else going on, so just check. Assault Laser does 60. Yep, so we'll go ahead. Let's just play the laser for good measure. Retreat. Drop this. Drop like this. And Assault Laser. Our opponent has this turn to figure something out. Evo Soda, alright. I'm going to go ahead and get a Gallade up, but I fear it won't matter too much. Finding a Tierno, drawing a bunch of cards. Ooh, don't know if I actually would have played that Natu there. That's a great Lysander target. Yeah. But, I mean, you know, it does save them a turn. Like, at this current position, I can't actually knock out their Gallade next turn. But it is only a 2-shot, so I don't think I would have dropped the Natu just because, you know, if something does happen, it will require the game to go on for a few more turns, and they got immediately punished, as you can see, so not the biggest deal in the world, but definitely not something you want to do in that spot. You know, even if your chances to win are so slim, you know that the only way you're going to win this game is if the game lasts a few more turns, and giving me the ability to take my last prize on that turn, regardless of how small the chance is or how much doesn't matter, is not exactly where you want to be. So yeah, that's the deck, and we're going to move on to round 2 pretty soon. Hey everybody, back for round 2 here. Looks like we're going to go second. And we're going to start with a decent hand. No supporter, but we have the Ultra Ball to find a Shaman. Let's see what our opponent's got going on. Snivy and Dratini. Okay. Interesting combination. Professor's Letter. I think there's a Legal Superior that's just the reprint from the black and white one that's in Legendary Treasures. Just heals one from all of your Pokemon in between turns. And then there are various Dragonites. The half art one I think is the most popular, most likely at this point, but so if we just discard these two, actually, was gonna discard two lightning, but I think we just discard lightning and a head ringer there. And I'm fine with trying to draw two to find a toad. Super scoop up. Nice. So now the question is, do we just try and draw one, or do we attach to the Zubat to draw another? I think we just attach. Yeah, didn't find much. Do we colorist into 3 cards? You know what, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it. Alright, that was totally fine. Gonna find another Shaman. Draw back up. Don't particularly want, I guess we can do this, but don't particularly want to play any of this stuff. Yeah, let's just go ahead and pass the turn back. Had the ability to super scoop up and try and hit the Shaman, but there are times where I'm going to want to super scoop up either my Toad or the Bats. And we do have the end due to burn our hand. We do have ways to find the Crobat DC for next turn, so not too concerned about doing it just now. Our opponent passes without doing too much. Now we're going to go ahead and try with this because we drew the DCE. Boom, and we did it. Alright. Feels pretty good. Our opponent didn't do anything last turn, so I don't really want to play Silent Lab and turn off our potential abilities. And I think I'm fine just hitting for 30. Opponent building up this Servine into something, which we do have to be careful about since Seismitoad is weak to grass, but the retreat there tells me they don't have a whole lot going on. Yeah, and they're just going to go ahead and pass it back to us. We do have the Colorist. Let's go ahead and play that. Rock Guard, nice. So if even if they get 2 hits, they won't knock us out. Don't really want to attach to any other Pokemon. Laser there is nice. I could attach the DCE to the Manectric, but I'd rather just find a Lightning to do that with and save the DCEs for our Shamans or our Seismitoads. If we get knocked out here by a Muscle Band or something, well, not a Muscle Band, but not a knockout, but pretty close. 60, so they're knocked out just from 1 attack. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and Versus Seeker Colorus again, if PTCG will let me. Whiff off that for this turn, but we have the Manectric at least, so I'm not too concerned. There's a knockout. DCE for later. Can this knock us out? Yeah, so with 1 more energy, this will knock us out. And discard our Stadium? Nice. Oh no, no. I'll just blow through. Okay, okay. That's much better for us. And next turn, I'm fine with just promoting the Golbat and Junipering. Losing 2 Golbats is not great, as well as a DCE, but we kind of gotta do what we gotta do. Well, that was actually a misclick. Uh, because we want to. Yeah, we can just retreat, right? Okay. We want to keep the lock going, but we also want to find the knockout, which we did off the muscle band, so that's pretty nice. I'm gonna Ultra Ball like this. Find another Zubat just to keep that up. Take the knockout. Now our opponent has this turn to find something. Alright, so they found the second Jatini, so not going to be just game over here. But I think they are going to need quite a bit to crawl back into this one. Alright. Let's do that. And don't need to do much else. At this point in the game, I will attach to them a Nectric. And now we can... Actually, if our opponent stays like this, we can just... Actually, we won't have a game. Sorry. I forgot the AZ. Wouldn't work like that. Ooh, Executor. 80. Goodness, alright. That's a pretty big game. So I think what we're gonna do is try and laser it. Super scoop up, miss. Do we just AZ and not worry about it? I think we actually do this. Let's go ahead and AZ our Shaman, play it back down, and draw a bunch of cards. Oh, there's another laser. I'm fine with firing this thing off. Alright, so swing and a miss. Go ahead and Quaking Punch. We're definitely going to get return KO'd here, which isn't a great feeling, but the Executor will get knocked out to a Crobat or Golbat next turn. And I think keeping the Quaking Punch up there is important. Obviously, if it would have hit that Super Scoop Up on the Toad, that would have been big, but now we're actually in kind of an interesting spot. Oh, I was thinking we'd actually get knocked out there, but I must have... Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, that helps out quite a bit. And at this point, I'm fine ending here. Would rather just see cards I can potentially use. Get the knockout here. Any attack will knock us out next turn. Yeah, for some reason I thought the Executor attack was doing 90. But as we see, that's not the case. And, oh, That's pretty unfortunate. We'll go ahead and Quaking Punch for the game. So, not much there from our opponent, although if a few things would have gone differently, I think we could have very easily lost. If the Executor did knock us out that turn, it would have been pretty rough for us to come back. You know, we were drawing pretty dead off the ends and everything, but that's the match, and I'll see you guys in the finals. Hey everybody, welcome back to the finals of the Standard Tournament. My name is Kenny Wisdom, and let's win some packs. Looks like our opponent has the pack sleeves from last year, and we have not gone first this entire tournament. Only 3 games, but still. But yeah, I think these were the sleeves given out at PAX last year. Ooh, not a great start from us. No draw supporter, no other basic. 2 lasers to stall though, and we do have the AZ for if we draw any other basic. I think the dream is something like draw Toad, AZ the Shaman, laser, play the Shaman, set up, draw DCE Muscle Band, but we'll see how everything goes. Ooh, Night March. Okay, so we're going to be on quite the clock here. Luckily, opening with Shaman, they don't really know what we're playing. You know, we could be playing basically anything, and, you know, Night March isn't going to change their plan too much based on what they're playing. They still want to play out all their items and whatnot and get a bunch of Night March into the discard pile, but there's a chance if they don't know we're playing against Toad, they might hold an item that they should have played. Obviously, if it's something like a battle compressor, they're not going to, but a small thing they might, you know, hold. Ooh, just a battle compressor. Alright, so this is not too bad for us, although, we're going to have to hope to get lucky on these lasers here. We're just forced to play them both. Well, it's not looking great for us. Go ahead and attach. Ship the turn and hope our opponent did not find a supporter. They didn't have supporter energy last turn, so they would need to top deck one of those this turn. Additionally, without a Dimension Valley, they would need to find a DCE. So, ooh, Acrobike. Alright, so we're going to see if this Acrobike whiffs. Be good for us. If not, we're going to be in trouble. Night Marcher on the bench is a good sign. Escape Rope. Another good sign. Oh, Shaman. Alright, that should probably do it. There's a Battle Compressor. Well, our opponent got there. I assumed that they drew the Acrobike that turn and found the Shaman off of it, which it's not like they're being, you know, getting lucky or anything. They pass almost completely their first turn, and then, you know, this is how kind of the games go, I think, where we have a lot of the card advantage cards like Acrobike and such that really allow as a 240. So quick defeat in the finals, but as I was saying, you know, it really does help the game to get through dead draws like that. We saw our opponent have nothing on the first turn, and then like I said, assuming they drew an Acrobike, found a Shaman, and then were able to Shaman to win the game. And obviously, normally that's not going to straight out win you the game, but it does allow you to just kind of reset like that. And that was the finals. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Big shout outs to Christy Britton for making the top 8 of US Nats with the deck. Seemed really fun. You know, the 2 games that we won were pretty dominant, and that one we didn't really get to play, so unfortunate finals loss, but hey. It was a fun tournament, good deck, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.